I just grabbed our custom CNC end tanks from OMD SD with the fittings, and it's time to get these things on our CSF radiator cores. Dom's finishing welding that. He already got this rad all set to go. Kuzi and I got the 16 fittings on. We got a Schrader valve on this one so we can do a little pressure check. So let's bust this thing up to about, let's go to 35 and just make sure we're good. Also, the radiator is filled with water, so we're just gonna check for leaks right now. Just checking for leaks around all the seams, the welds. Also, you can find out if the pressure drops on the needle, obviously. All right, boys, radiators are done. Pressure tested, leak tested, everything checks out. Moving straight on to the fan shroud. These are our Spall brushless fans. Now these mount a different way than I'm used to, or that any of us are really used to unless you've used these fans. So the tab, the flange is up top here, and they get mounted down on the face like that. So Dom doesn't want to build a shroud that just goes all the way up to the flange because it's a bunch of wasted space. So he just wants to build it up to this edge and then have a flange come up to the fan from there. So that is a little more compact on the edges and a little bit lighter. Probably look a lot better too. So it just doesn't look like it covers the entire area of the radiator. So these Spall brushless fans are pretty serious. This is the 15-inch, does like 2300 CFM. You can start them at a low amperage and obviously speed control and everything with the Motec that we're going to be using. So pretty dope fans. Definitely strong CFM pull, and just got to get them mounted up. Radiator or radiator?
Radiator.
Radiator.
Radiator, obviously.
Radiator.
This is it. This is the spacer for the fan. Fan just slides right in there. We just made these on the roll bender right there. It's got the little lip on it. So we're just gonna rivet this onto the fan shroud itself, and then Dom's gonna make a couple things for the hardware to bolt the fan into here and hold her nice and steady. But this is the one that's not welded yet. Just roll bent it, made that perfect circle. Boom. So I had to take a break and help Dom with this, so I didn't get to film it, but basically just drilled some holes, riveted the baby in there. Spall fan is done, son. Radiator shroud completed. So one radiator 100% done, one more to go. Oh, actually we do have to make some spacers And we're gonna thread the spacers and bolt from the bottom to the top, Loctite the bottoms, of course, and that's how the fan will hold in here. Although it's a very snug fit. Dom pretty much nailed it on this whole thing. Final touches. Dom had to cut these down and then mill a flat on there. Done, baby! Dominic used some blue thread locker from Permatex, some screw glue, just to tighten the bottom side bolts on these so those don't come loose and go into the fan. Radiator's done, baby. Time for us to try to fit these two large radiators in here somewhere. They gotta work in here. Just hoping it's not a complete rat, but it will be. There's no doubt. Frame rails coming off. Dom already trimmed these out. These are going to be the caps for the front of the frame rail. Oh, this is the piece we already cut off, but you get it. It's going to slide over there. Bust some welds on there. So Dom got this all rolled back. That's going to be the bottom support for the bumper. This is 3/4 065 chromoly, and then we're going to have those tubes go onto this base plate that he made for the front of the subframe, and then a lot of the support for the upper portion of the front bumper is going to come from that and for the radiators. Bottoms bumper support done, baby. This is 1/2 inch, so it rolls really easy, so Dom can pretty much just do it himself. When you get to the bigger stuff like 1.5 inch or 1 inch, you have to use this wheel.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's pretty good.
That looks good.
Alright, we had to do a second design, so Dom just cut this, or bent this more at a 90 to go straight back, because none of this was clearing the headlight where we had it kind of swoop out and look really nice. So Dom had to cut a hard 90 and then just angle it back out to connect up here. So now we're going to do a support that probably comes up from the middle up here, or on the sides here that come up to support it. But we got plenty of room for the headlights now, which is good. So moving on, baby. Damn, that's strong as hell, dude.
We can both stand on that.
3/4 065, 4130. Update, Dom's got the bumper officially sorted, all mounting points done. Now we're moving on to the headlights. I'm gonna have a tab that goes here and probably another one, I don't know, in this area somewhere. Headlights are pretty big, take up a lot of room over here. 1/2 inch 065 chromoly. Everything is super strong, super light. Headlights in, baby! Just gotta get the tabs on. It's really looking like a car now, dude. Headlights in, boys. We're moving on to the radiators. Yee! It's our first basic stab at positioning the radiators. Definitely gonna be tricky. There's like no room in here for both of them. All right, this is option number 2, guys. We could rotate them inwards towards the engine, which gives us better ducting for the front of the radiators, but gives us worse ducting to exit all of the hot air out of the hood. The engine comes to right here, and then we're gonna have a plate that comes across as a structure point for the 2 frame rails. So that leaves us basically no room to really exit or build much of a duct to exit the hot air. But I do like it this way. It would be better for cooling initially, but we will have to get that hot air out of here somehow. All right, I'm thinking maybe just straight up and down now. Got a little block of wood. Raised it 2 inches up. A little bit of hood clearance issues, but nothing too crazy. This would be the easiest because the fittings in the center would clear. Still be tough doing some duct work, but. All right, the part we hate, redoing work that's already been done. So, notching a top bar here so we can make some more clearance so we can push the radiators further apart to the side. Probably gain about 1 inch on each side, which will give us the amount of room that we need so the fittings can be in the center here. They can be far enough apart, and we can also spread the radiator cores far enough apart so that Dom can make mounts for it to mount in this area right here. Here we go, boys. Radiators coming in. Pretty sure these are just temporary for now. All right, update, boys. Radiators are in. Dom has the finish mounts going on now. Just gonna weld these to the top of the upper radiator support. He made this cool bracket here. Typical DomSpec fashion, a couple speed holes in there. Nice rubber bushing in here. Capped it off with a nice piece of aluminum, M6 hardware. I think he's got a plan for this in the center here. He's probably not gonna keep that. Getting close. Getting closer for the rads. What up, boys? Dom's been crushing it. Radiator's almost officially in here for good. So he just made this one single mount. Goes all the way through. Just 2 tabs to hold the radiators in. And then he's gonna have a mount that comes from the top radiator support to the center up here with 2 mounts, same style. And that should cover it because everything's mounted on the bottom and on the outsides here. So there won't be any extra structure to triangulate down. This just basically needs to be held in place because they're super sturdy the way they are. Just ordered oil coolers, so those will come in the next week. In the meantime, though, some awesome DomSpec work. As difficult as these were to get in here, I am stoked how they came out. They are sitting upright, so it's a little bit different than what we had anticipated, but with the room that we had and kind of all the mounting solutions that we were given, this is the best way to do it. There's plenty of room in the front to add really good ducting to get air to the radiators, so I'm pumped on that. And kind of just continue to the next step. Looking good, man. And these fans are really sick. I know I've mentioned it before, but these spalls pull 2,300 CFM a piece, brushless, so we can do a lot of cooling with just those, which would be good. CSF coming through, OMD coming through, everything really lined up. Everything lined up, boys. We're getting there. As I always say, progress, progress, progress. All right, boys, we are moving on to oil coolers. We got our Supra coolers. These are both roughly 11 by 7.5 on the core. So we're gonna run 2 of them on each side of the bumper, and Dom is sorting out mounting these babies now. Limited space, as we have encountered multiple times, or pretty much throughout the entire build in the engine bay. We're keeping everything at -12, so we have these M22 to -12 fittings that came with the coolers. Good though, it's just like enough there. She tacked and mounted to take the bumper off for Dom to finish welding the mounts on, but she looking good, baby. Looking good in there. CSF radiators in with the custom end tanks, oil coolers done, headlights in, the entire front end is dialed right now. There's a lot of complexity to this, so let me walk you guys through it. So Dom made the entire front end modular, meaning the whole frame of the front, where the radiators are in, the oil coolers are in, the headlights are in, the front bumper's on, can all pop off on 6 bolts. 1 bolt up here on both sides, and then 2 through bolts on the bottom here that mount to the front subframe. So you pop that hardware off, and then this whole front end can just pop off. Obviously, if all the plumbing's disconnected for the radiators and oil coolers, and the wiring is unplugged on the headlights. So those are the only mounting points for the entire front end, which is pretty dope. We use chromoly 1/2 inch 065 wall for all the top tube, and then on the bottom here where the bumper is, we're using 3/4 065 chromoly. Everything is super stiff and sturdy. I can stand on this bar down here and there's like no flex on it. So that's pretty cool. Everything is super rigid and lightweight, and as minimal as possible to make sure everything is as stiff as it needs to be as well. So the radiators are mounted on the outside with a bushing on the top and a bushing on the bottom, and then they're hard mounted in the center here, where they are not attached together, but very close. Spent about 8 hours figuring out what the best way of mounting these radiators was, and we just resorted to mounting them straight up side by side, which was the best way to do these. So plenty of venting from the front bumper, which is good, and with a little bit of duct work we should be spot on, and there should be plenty of airflow through the cores, which is good. So the radiators actually worked out really well with the amount of venting coming through the front bumper. The oil coolers are now picking up off of a vent on the side of the front bumper, which is good. It pretty much has like more than 80% of the fins pick up of direct air contact, which is good. So there's gonna be minor duct work for these. We're running 2 Supra oil coolers. These are roughly 11 by 8 times 2. So I think that's plenty of oil cooling for this engine. And then we're thinking about running the AEM pickup for the filter in between the radiator and the oil here. Now, yes, that is a hotter spot, but we're like so limited on options of where we can fit the AEM pickup for air. We'll have a pickup on each side of the radiator, so there'll be 2 locations, and it'll have nothing but cool air coming in. So we're hoping that they'll hoping to put a little bit of a heat barrier between the two if intake air temps become an issue, but I think we'll be okay. That is a wrap on this episode. Thank you guys for watching Formula Supra and the massive amount of work that was just put into this car. We are probably like 16 steps closer to getting this car actually running sometime soon. So stay tuned. We got plenty of episodes left and plenty of more awesome work to do to this car.